All right, all right, all right. It's another side of my friends, and we're still talking about obedience and why is it important as children to be obedient to our guardians, elderly people, and as well as our parents in our homes. And to be with you, I'm not alone. As you can see, I have beautiful ladies on my right, as well as a handsome man standing on the middle of these ladies. All right, so I'm going to start from this side. You introduce yourself, your grade, and where you're coming from.
Hello guys, my name is Rupe Mwamba and I'm from Kasama Central SDHH. I'm in grade 8.
My name is Lusopo Naluta and I am also from Kasama Central and I'm in grade 9.
Hi guys, my name is Joshua Simfkwe. I'm from Kasama Central as my friends and I'm in grade 9 at Kasama Boys Secondary.
All right, and to start the ball rolling, I am going to pose a question to each one of us. Maybe you have something that you prepared concerning obedience. What is obedience, Bupe?
As in my own understanding, obedience is obeying instructions that you have been given.
Okay.
Well, as for me, obedience is when you're being told to do something without any hesitation, you have to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
So what if you're not comfortable to do something?
Let me just say, if you're being told by your parents, you just have to do it. But if it's wrong, you have to say no, because there are some parents that force let me just say some rules on us. But those types of rules that we don't feel comfortable with, we have to deny them. Yes.
All right, Joshua, what is your understanding of obedience?
As for me, obedience is doing the right thing at the right time.
Okay, so what if you do it at the wrong time but you're doing the right thing? Is that obedience?
Yeah, it is, because you're doing the right thing.
You're doing the right thing but you're doing it at the wrong time.
No, it's not every time, but it's at the right time.
Okay.
You can do it any time, but as long as it's right, you can do it.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have our fellow kids, children, young people who are watching us, and they want to know, if we were obedient, what are the benefits of being obedient? What can come out if we begin to obey our guardians, if we begin to obey our parents? What are we going to benefit as children and young people? Luswepo.
As for me, let me just say, when we obey our parents or guardians, or even people who are just older than us, let me just say, God will bring more blessings into our lives. Because if we obey, it's even one of the commandments, like, honor your father and your mother so that your days may be long. That's the reason why we're supposed to obey each and every, even people who are just older than you, we have to obey each other so that we can have blessings from God.
Definitely. Joshua.
As for me, we have to obey parents. We have to obey parents, and by doing that, God will bless us. And at the end of the day, we will live an eternal life when we go heaven.
So apart from blessings, what else are we going to benefit if we continue obeying our parents?
As in my own understanding, if we obey, we are always going to be in the right track. It's going to be very easy for us to pray, read the Bible, obey anyone, even our young siblings or anyone, a stranger. We won't be rude to them if they ask for help.
Definitely. I love the points that you have just stretched to say, even our young siblings. So does it mean we only need to obey people who are older than us, or even people who are younger than us?
No, when it doesn't mean you are only supposed to obey elderly people. Even a baby, you are supposed to obey, because even us, when we are young, we don't remember everything. But some of our older siblings, they used to obey because they were also obeying, they were taught. So we're also supposed to obey.
Definitely. So obedience is the key to each one of us. And obedience is the key that we are supposed to put up as a principle in young people. What Bible verses, Joshua, have you prepared for us that are talking about obedience, so that young people out there can also learn about the importance of obedience?
There's a verse in the Bible which comes from Hebrews 13 verse 17, and it says, obey those who rule over you, and they will be submissive, and they would watch out for your souls, so that at the end of the day you'll be profitable.
Definitely.
Yes.
So is it also important as children to obey our leaders who are leading us from just the local level, maybe from church, from school, from home? Is it important? How important is it?
As for me, it's very important, because as she said and as you said as well, we also have to obey people who are younger than us. Can I give an example of us Pathfinders? We are senior Pathfinders and they are junior Pathfinders. Junior Pathfinders, we can also obey them, because as long as they're telling us the right thing, we can also obey them as well. So even our leaders, that's the way we're supposed to obey them, because they'll be putting us in the right track.
Okay, I see. So those are some of the benefits of obeying.
Yes.
Yeah. So in case you don't obey, what happens to you?
I can say, if you don't obey parents, it's even one of the 10 commandments, as I said earlier. If you don't obey them, you might experience some problems. Like if you disobey people, it will just like bring more problems into your life. Because if you obey your parents, they'll be putting you in the right track of heaven. Now, if you disobey them, that's the same as you're putting yourself in the wrong path of going to the devil.
Definitely. Bupe, any Bible verse that you have prepared that is giving a scenario or an example of the importance of obedience?
As for me, from all the Bible verses that talk about obedience, I picked Ephesians 6 verse 1 to 5, because it talks about children obeying their parents and how parents should treat their children. As children, as we said, as children we are supposed to obey our parents. And our parents, it doesn't mean just because they are older than us and they are parents, it doesn't mean they should be treating us in a rude way, a way that will make us angry. They're supposed to treat us in the way that we are also going to be happy with.
Definitely.
If they start training us early, it won't be hard for us to come and start following rules. It's just, we're just supposed to follow, not just for our parents, guardians, even anyone. If someone sends you, you're not supposed to refuse.
Definitely. Luswepo, as we are coming to the end of our discussion, what is the Bible verse that you have prepared for us that is talking about the importance of obedience?
I prepared a Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 10 verse 5. I don't have a Bible, but I can remember what it says. It said you have to pull through every obstacle of your life and obey God. I can give a practical example of what was in the Bible. I'm not sure if it was Abraham. Yeah, he sacrificed his son because God told him to.
He almost sacrificed.
Yes, almost. He almost sacrificed his son with no second thoughts of it. God just told him that you have to sacrifice your son, and he did so. That's the way we're also supposed to obey people. Our parents, our guardians, even our fellow friends. That's how we're supposed to obey them, and there will be a reward at the end of everything, and that is going to heaven.
Definitely. In case this is when you're joining us, we are talking about obedience as an important principle in young people, especially children who are growing up. For we believe that a better generation is created by better children who are growing up. There is a scenario in the Bible where we have the lost son.
Yes.
And the lost son went. He disobeyed. Indirectly, he requested for his share from the father, and the father gave him. And where he went, he really lived a miserable life. And that miserable life that he lived, he realized at the end of the day that he did not deserve to live in such a manner, because he had a father who was a master. So he decided to go back to the father, and the father welcomed him. It is our plea, and it is also our encouragement to the viewers out there to say, no matter how much you have disobeyed as a child, as a person who is being kept by guardians and parents, you have you still have a chance to go back to your parents and run through the test. So what do you do when you do something wrong to your parents? In conclusion, we can start with Wupe. In case you're the one who has done something wrong, what do you do to your parents?
As for me, we take, for instance, if I break a cup or a plate, I must go to my mom or dad that I've broken this, but we are not supposed to hide it because it's going to be revealed. And if we tell our parents when we just do it, it's not going to let our parents. Sometimes it's just us who let our parents shout at us in a manner that is not correct. Because if we put ourselves in our parents' shoes, we would also not be happy.
Yeah.
That's why we can shout at you, get angry, and also beat you.
Yeah.
So we are just supposed to take ourselves and ask for forgiveness so that they can forgive us.
Definitely.
As for me, let me just say in a simpler term, is that we have to reconcile with our parents. When we do something wrong, we always have to go and say sorry, because if we hide that thing from them, it will even bring more consequences. Maybe if you were to apologize in the first place, they would even have forgiven you, but if you go, they would maybe even give you a harsh punishment. So it's better when you do something wrong, just go and reconcile with your parents.
Okay. And Joshua, what do you do when you do something wrong to your parents?
You just apologize, and you apologize to your parents and they will forgive you. Yeah.
Okay. And what if they are the ones who have done something wrong to you?
Some parents can come to you that I'm sorry for what I did, but you can go to them to tell them that, Mom or Dad, what you did earlier was wrong.
Or I didn't like what you did?
Yeah, or I didn't like what you did earlier. So then they can tell you after that, they can tell you, forgive me. Or
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
That is a very powerful point. And we are calling to each one who is watching us right now to say obedience is better than sacrifice. We can say that together.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.